Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you have time, please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who needs to hear this too. All right, so I had a very interesting question with a gentleman the other day. I know this guy from Ask an Aquarius, and he told me that he has been pursuing this woman for a little while now. He really likes this woman. They work together. And the whole time, it's been 2 years that he's been trying to pursue her. They've worked together longer than that. And he's been upfront about it. They've talked about it, but that's it. They haven't gone on a date. They haven't done anything else because she's currently in a relationship and living with her boyfriend. However, the boyfriend is not a good boyfriend. He's abusive is the bottom line. He's argumentative. He's nasty. He really takes her for granted. He doesn't appreciate the relationship. She's caught him with other women. He's just trampling all over the poor child. And the guy, the one I know from Asking Aquarius, is saying to me he doesn't understand why she would rather stay in an abusive relationship, a relationship that they both have identified as abusive. Why she would rather stay in this abusive relationship than be with him. He's like, I don't understand. Why won't she just move in with me? Why don't she leave and just be with me? What is the problem? He's like, why would a person stay with somebody that's abusing them rather than take a chance and go off with somebody who is not abusing them? And I said, well, there's a lot of levels to this. There's so many levels to this. The first level to this is that she doesn't know you. For 2 years, you've been trying to holler at her. You've been talking to her at work. You've been coming at her. But how does she really, truly know you're any better than him? She doesn't. You're just another dude trying to holler at her at work. She doesn't know if you're going to be better than him or worse than him, for real, for real. So if it was me, escaping to you might seem like a common sense thing to do. But I would be kind of afraid of jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. That's number one. That's one consideration. Number two, there are many reasons why a person stays in an abusive situation. And a lot of people who are in abusive situations have the tendency to draw several or more abusive situations because the abuser is just a symptom of what's going on inside of them. You draw an abusive situation because there's something in here that needs to be healed. And the abuser comes forward as like a teacher. They come forward as to show you, okay, this is where you're not loving yourself. Okay, this is where some, tweaking needs to be done. If you stay in a relationship with an abusive person, there's fundamentally something inside of you, something emotional, psychological, mental, something inside of you that needs to be healed. So that's why you drew this person in the first place, and that's why you'll probably draw other abusers as time goes forward if you don't heal what that something is. So whatever is going on inside of her that drew this person, whatever created this situation, that situation is there too. So that, whatever that is, that has not been healed. She might not even think she deserves a good relationship. These kinds of emotional wounds go very deep, and you don't know what kind of things she's telling herself. Number three, there are very practical reasons why a person stays with their abuser. Number one, their abuser might threaten them. I'll kill you and your whole family. I've heard that. I've had someone say that to me before, It's lots of reasons why a person who's being abused may be afraid. The person has threatened them. Maybe they have children together and they're scared that they'll harm their children if they don't stay with them. There's lots of levels to this. The psychological terror that some people go through is really deep. And also remember economics. Sometimes people, women and men, stay in abusive situations because they can't afford, or they think they can't afford, to live by themselves. So she may be a pain in my butt, or she might be abusive, or she might have, she might tear up my stuff or do things to me, but I can't live by myself. I can't afford an apartment. I'm only making minimum wage. I don't want to live with my parents, or I don't have anywhere else to go. So sometimes economics are, play a very serious role in a person continuing to allow themselves to be abused. So I think it's a combination 9 times out of 10 of all of these things. And like I said before, a person who draws an abusive situation into their life, into their auric field, or into their energy, or whatever you want to call it, a person who draws this kind of energy towards them, it really comes forward for you to heal something. So 9 times out of 10, there's something in her that she's still working through. Now, me personally, I think that as soon as you identify somebody as abusing you, you need to get away from that person. I wouldn't recommend hanging around to get the lesson. As soon as I think I'm being abused, I'm out. And I think that another reason how come this woman and other people stay in abusive relationships is because people in our society will tell us, when something goes wrong, don't give up. Don't walk away from that person. Go to therapy. They make excuses for people. They do stuff like that. So when somebody first shows an abusive tendency, the first inclination is to think they've had a bad day. Is to think that they're sorry. Is to think, oh, this won't happen again, or everything is going to be okay. People have a tendency to tell themselves all kind of lies, or they'll say, we'll work through it. You'll even talk to other people, and other people will tell you, oh, well, you should work through it. You should try this. You should try that. A lot of people get abused systematically because in the very beginning, when the abuse signs were popping up, they were making excuses for them, and people around them were telling them, oh, well, that's just how things are. Everything will be okay. Just, it's all right. He yelled at you. He punched the wall. Oh, that's okay. I've seen people online give all kinds of crazy advice in situations like that. When these warning signs come up, people will be like, oh, you're overreacting. As soon as I see something that even remotely indicates abuse, I'm out. I don't even hang around to see if that's really what it is. As soon as it looks and smells abusive, I'm like, I'm good. So a lot of people allow themselves to go through that process, and 2 years, 3 years later, they start to realize there's nothing I can do about this. This is not going to change. I saw somebody drop a meme about how people don't have conflict resolution skills now. And I was like, yeah, conflict resolution skills are really important. But they were talking about it in reference to a relationship. Like, oh, everybody just walks away now. Nobody has conflict resolution. I do think there are cases when you can work it out. I think there are cases when you probably should work it out. But I think if you're being abused in any way, that's not one of those times. I don't think that's one of those times. And I understand that you draw forward these situations so that you can heal something inside of yourself. But to me, just realizing you're in the abusive situation is enough. Like, okay, I'm being abused. I've drawn an abusive person into my life. What is going on? What about me is vibrating to draw this kind of person towards me? I think that's enough. I don't think you need to stay with the person to get the lesson, or stay with the person, to figure out what it is. I think just identifying that in itself is enough. And you can do the rest of that with your therapist. You don't have to do it with that abusive person. So, like I said before, I think all of these reasons are reasons why she would stay in this situation. And if I were you, I wouldn't try to change that. I would talk to her not about a relationship with me. I wouldn't try to get her to be with me, especially right now. She's vulnerable. She's in a bad situation. I wouldn't do that. I would spend my time trying to get her to see that she's in an abusive situation and that she needs to do something about it. Whatever that something may be. She may need to talk to a domestic abuse counselor. There's a lot of things that she can do in this case. She may need to go to the cops. A lot of things that she can do. But if I were you, my thing would be talking to her about her options and trying to get her to see that this is something serious that she needs to handle. I wouldn't be trying to get her to come into a relationship with me. Also, remember, she's in an abusive relationship. She got a lot of emotional, mental, psychological stuff going on with her. She, in my opinion, shouldn't even get into another relationship with you or anybody else. She needs to work on herself. She needs some time by herself. So, again, if you really care about her and you have respect for her in this situation, what you really should do is help her realize what's going on and come out of this situation without an agenda. This isn't the time to make a love connection. This is the time to be a friend. It's the time to be a friend and help her navigate through what's going on, figure out how she drew this in her life. What is this showing us? Because every bad situation happens for a reason. I drew abusive energy from my first husband, from Voldemort, and probably other situations that I've long since forgot, I've tucked away. But all of those situations came about because I had unhealed parts of myself all the way back to childhood. So something's already present there. There's something going on. And for me, it was, it was a long journey. Oh God, was it a long journey. But I went through abusive situations until I realized something is wrong here. So if you care about her, help her realize sooner than later that something is wrong and she needs to address it. Don't try to tell her what to do. Just try to help her figure out what she wants to do. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you would like to have a reading done, please email me. Likewise, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And all of my contact information is underneath this video. Thank you to everyone who already entered the contest. I think I have like 20 entries so far, so I'm really happy about that. See you guys later. Come back soon because y'all know I got a lot more to say.